Ladies and gentlemen, you once again welcome to the King Dems podcast. And today I have with me a co-founder of the African Fighters podcast. He is a man of multiple endeavors, multiple businesses, multiple skills, multiple accomplishments. Please be welcome, Jibril Aboki Aminu. How are you, my brother?
Yo, sup Kingdoms. I would say it's just proper for me to be here. I'm a bit disappointed that I'm not your first guest because you
Oh
you are a
wow!
regular you are a regular on my show, and it took 4 episodes before I got on here, and I had to even like drop hints. I was like, yo, Dems, when am I gonna be on the pod? I don't get it. You're asking me for recommendations. Do you know this guy? Can you speak to this guy? But you are not talking to me. What did I do to you? Why
Yeah,
am
so
I why was I the fifth option to be a guest on your show when I was there when the idea of this your podcast started, Kingdom's podcast. I was there when it
conceive,
started.
believe, achieve.
I was there when you got when the system was going on, the graphics, the
Hmm.
logo, everything. I was there. I was
Yeah.
even instrumental in some part of it. And then I'm still number 5 as a guest. I am disappointed in you.
Sadly, I think. Are you number five? I think. Shegs was on earlier today. So.
So I'm number 6. You haven't making it worse. Okay. It's okay. No wahala. I'm fine. I'm glad to be
Wow.
here.
A
I
prophet. A
will
prophet is not appreciated in his hometown.
sorry?
I said a prophet is not appreciated in his hometown.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
Uh,
I think your audio breaks a bit. I'm not sure which microphone you're using. Are you using your microphone or the one on
oh,
your headset?
okay. Let me
It's
test.
breaking
Let
up
me
a
check.
bit.
Okay, let me check the setting. Let me check the setting. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, I'm using this microphone, and then I'm using.
Okay, I
Yeah,
think I think it's
should be
fine now.
better.
It's fine. I can
It's
hear you.
fine, all right. Okay, I think I had
Hmm.
to go to the setting. Okay, good. We're all good now. So,
Yes.
you're once again welcome. Who is Jibril Aminu? Like, who are you in a
Uh,
nutshell? How do you describe
uh we,
yourself?
we're getting into it straight away. Ladies and gentlemen, my name Jibril Aminu. By the way, on my passport, it does say Aminu Jibril. Long story, but my name is Jibril. My dad's name is Aminu. I am from Sokoto State in Nigeria. That's the extreme northwestern part of Nigeria. For those that don't understand Nigerian geography, that is part of the Sahara. So we are actually closer to the Sudans and the Senegals than being closer to Nigeria, if that makes sense. So
Yeah,
hence
the food
why
was Desert.
hen- yeah, hence why I run into a lot of Africans and I would say I'm Nigerian and they would try to argue with me. And I would have to speak pidgin for them to understand, to agree actually. But yeah, so I'm from Sokoto State, Nigeria. I was born in Lagos, but only stayed there for like the first 10 years of my life before we moved to Sokoto. We moved back to Sokoto because my dad was in the Air Force, so the Nigerian Air Force, and he was based at the Air Force base in Lagos, which is where I was born. Um, yeah, I've been around the world. Dominantly, I've been in Asia for a long time. I spent about 6 years in China when I went to uni. I did study in Nigeria as well, but I moved to the UK here just about 3 years ago during the pandemic, which is a crazy whole chapter. But
An interesting time.
yeah, the question is who is Jibril? Yes, so Jibril is a that is who I am, Hausa boy, Sokoto, Nigeria. Um I am a bit into media. I I have a podcast with my colleague Farouk about African fighters. I'm very passionate about sports at large. Um But in the hierarchy of sports, I'm passionate about MMA and combat sports is up there. So I watch a lot of football. I mean soccer to Americans. I don't watch American football, but I do watch a whole bunch of sports. I'm a big fan of the NBA. Uh, Premier League football, pro wrestling, WWE. Yeah, to watch a whole lot of stuff. So hence how I met King Dems here. So me and King Dems met in one of the, I don't know, chat
MMA
rooms of
communities.
MMA. It's the MMA space that we met, and yeah. So me and Farouk, my colleague, we started the African Fighters as a space for African fans of combat sports. Because at that point, it was a point when we had three kings, we had three African champions in the UFC, and then we decided like, yo, this is exciting, we got to put ourselves together. And then yeah, we did pull the African Fighters together, and today I would say it has been a success so far. um we put our podcast weekly, we've got a YouTube channel, we've got uh social media and stuff, we've got a website. We even uh we even had pioneered, I believe, the first African Combat Sports Awards, which we are doing the second edition next month. um Yeah, I really, really, I'm not really doing a good job answering this question. I've been all over the place talking about myself and talking about the things I've done. But yeah, please, it's your fault. You asked me a very vague question. Ask me question direct that we
Yeah,
answer, so I will not be beating around the bush.
so it's meant to be open-minded and I said open-ended rather, right? But interesting. Don't worry,
Hmm.
we'll walk through your life, we'll walk through things you've done, right?
Hmm.
But then, can you like talk briefly about your childhood? Like, what was childhood like for you, and of course your university days, because your university days were quite interesting. You went to China, right? You're the China man.
Yeah.
So let us have it. Let us have it.
um. What childhood? First 10 years of my life was in Lagos in the barracks. I'm a typical barrack boy. But inside the barrack, we were in the officers' quarters, so we were not in the rough areas of the barracks. We were sort of like in the Boti areas, Ajabota areas, Nigerian reference. That's like the Bota kids in it. So uh, after I was 10, we moved back to Sokoto, which is in the northern part of Nigeria. That opened my eyes a lot, because I would say I've been fortunate to understand the whole of the country in Nigeria, because I was born in the south and then grew up a bit there and then moved to the north. So I kind of understand both areas or cultures. And yeah, moving to Sokoto, it was very different. If you've never been to the northern part of Nigeria, it totally feels like a different part of the country. If you land in Kano State, for example, and you land in Lagos, you probably think you're in two different places, because the
Two different cultures.
language, the it's totally different. So yes, I was exposed to that early. Um, Blessed to have. I went to Unity colleges. So there's this thing called Unity colleges in Nigeria. You probably don't know Kingdom, so I'll educate you. So Unity colleges is like something that the federal government of education did, where they try to get federal secondary schools that would give equal amount of admissions to kids in 36 states of Nigeria. So it's called Unity College because it's, even if it's in Sokoto, for example, it's not going to be dominated by Sokoto boys or Sokoto girls. You understand? Sokoto students. It would be kids from all across the country. So I was privileged to be in a Unity College where there were kids from Borno, Adamawa, kids from the South, Igbo boys and girls and all that. So um I got really exposed to like pan Africanism or pan Nigerianism or nationalism, or whatever the word would be. So I got exposed to different cultures there as well. Um, it was a very, very beautiful experience. I went to boarding school, and I really enjoyed it. After that, I'm not a young boy. I graduated secondary school in
How old are you?
2007.
How old are you?
I am 32 years old.
You're not
So
that old.
I graduated
You're not
secondary school
that old. I'm 31
2007.
and I'm young.
I beg,
Yeah.
bros, let me
So
finish.
tell me.
So graduated high school 2007. I started going to uni in Kebbi State. is another state in northern Nigeria, in Kebbi State, and I wasn't really paying attention, to be honest, in school at that point. I was just doing whatever I want to do. I was very young. I was what 16 at the time I graduated. I started going to uni at 16, so I really did
Wow,
not even
16.
know what. Yeah, I did
That's
not
quite
even know
young.
what's this thing called? Credit score. You know what? Credit units in uni.
CGP.
I did not
Yeah.
know what credit unit was until I got to my fourth year in uni that time. I did not know what it was. So that's how
Wow.
unserious I was. But I graduated with a pass degree. What that is you're not a it's not an upper
The
class
certificate of attendance. It's a
so sort of
certificate of
something so, something
attendance,
sort of,
bro.
sort of like that. Sort of like that. So like you just get to go to NYSC and then yeah, so what happened is when I got home with my past degree, my dad was like, nah, dude, you're not going to do anything with this or whatever. And
Like, how old were
then
you at that time?
this was 2013. So that was 10. I'll be 22, right? Wait. Yeah, because I think I'll be 22 at that point.
Okay.
2013, because we're in 2023 now. So yeah, this was around 2013. So I go back. My dad was like, nah, you've got to do another one. And at that point, my younger brother was just about to leave the country. I'm in the country and to go study somewhere. And then, yeah, China came along. A lot of people ask me why China. It's just fate because it was my dad always gets Daily Trust newspaper every day. So there was a publication on the Daily Trust about ANSIC. ANSIC is the Association of Nigerian Students in China. So they made a post about, oh, we've got a new president in ANSIC. And then I saw that I was like, wait, what? Because when my dad gets a newspaper, every time he brings a newspaper, because I love sports, I start from the back page. Right? Normally,
Oh, same here.
traditionally, if
Exactly.
traditionally,
I remember
if you
back in
get a
the
newspaper,
days.
yeah, if you get a newspaper,
I
you look
used to
at the
do the same thing.
headlines and then and flip through it. But me, what I normally do is I start from the back because the sports columns are all in the back.
Don't
I
worry,
go
you're
through
not
the
alone.
sports
I
column.
used to do the same thing. I used to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So what I do with
Wow.
those newspapers is I go through the back, I go through the sports column, and then I go through from there I go to the puzzles. I try to do that daily puzzle that they do, and then I'll start reading news. So
Wow.
after my
Sorry,
sports, I
sorry to
went to the daily
interrupt you.
puzzle.
Sorry to
Yeah.
interrupt you. Did you ever buy those sport newspapers, the likes of Complete Sports? Those
Oh
really
yes,
small
yes,
ones.
yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes,
I used
yes,
to use
yes, yes.
my lunch money to buy those things.
Yeah, I used to carve them up and decorate my desk in secondary school that time.
Oh, wow.
Like the
Interesting.
pictures. I'd use scissors and carve them and put them on my drawer at school. But yeah, so this Daily Trust newspaper, I flipped through the back as usual. Then I went to do the daily puzzle as usual. And then just there I just saw a tiny column and they were talking about I was like, Nigerians in China, students to the universities in China. And then I was like, bro, I gotta look this up, right? And then I remember at that point my brother was about to go to Malaysia, my younger brother, and because I brought up China, I was like, "Yo, Dad, there's China," and then we looked it up and we saw that the tuition fee was not all that. Looked at Chinese universities, like, okay, yeah, you go figure it out. Because I knew that my dad says I had to do another degree. I knew that if I don't stand up and actually get this to go through, I'll end up doing another degree in Nigeria, which as a kid that time, you feel like a failure because all your classmates are already doing NYSC, are already working. And you would not be encouraged to go to school, to uni again when all your classmates have already gone ahead. So I was like, I have to see this through. I started going to the internet cafe because at that point, internet wasn't what is not what it is today. Internet cafe, I remember the name of the website I found because I just clicked on the first website I searched when I searched on Google admissions in China, Chinese admission. The first link was an agency. It's called Seekers. I went there, searched. And then when I was just there, an agent just popped up. He's like, "Yo, how can I help you?" I was like, "Yo, I'm looking for admission, two people." Uh, and the guy was answering me sharp, sharp. He was answering me sharp, sharp, and he was like, "Where do you want to go?" I said, "Anywhere that has Nigerians," because in my head I was thinking there will be no Nigerians there. I Two things I told him. I want I want petroleum engineering for my brother, and I want computer science for myself. I want English taught. I want these courses to be taught in English because I don't want to come and have to learn Chinese.
Learn
And
Chinese.
I want a city or a school that has a big Nigerian population, which is where I messed up. Because when I went there, Nigerians have already corrupted the system. I should have told him to just take me to another another city. But yeah, so
It's good to
that
have a
was
Nigerian
how
community, anyways.
yeah, so that was how I got the admission. Me and my brother, we ran in 2014. We went to China.
But then,
And
how's the time in China?
hmm?
How's the time in China like? How did you adapt to the system? What was it
Yeah,
like?
you see, you're asking vague questions. How was your time in China? You have to give me specifics. But yes, China was fine.
Adapting to the culture, any culture shock, like what hit you? From
Now you are
China?
talking. Now you are talking. So, um, I I think I'm still learning, bro, with diversity and what the world is. For example, leaving Nigeria and then moving to China, and then ending up spending 6 years in China, right? Then moving to the UK. Totally opened my mind when I got here. Like, for example, if you tell a British person like you spent some time in China, they'll be like, "What they're racist to you?" You know, that's the first thing that comes to your mind. And me, when I was in China, now looking back, racism was happening to me, but I didn't know it was racism. I just thought they were being ignorant, which they were being ignorant, but because most Chinese folks don't don't have experiences meeting foreigners because we are foreigners there. It's not just me. Any color of skin, including white people, they don't have experience meeting them. Loads of people there. Every day I go to a train station and enter a train, I would run into a Chinese person that would tell me, "You are the first black person I've ever seen in my life." So, and then they could ask you very stupid questions like, "How did you come here? I heard there are no planes in Africa." Blah blah blah. So
Whoa!
what I try to do is I don't show them that I speak Chinese because I kind of do speak Chinese. When you run into them and they realize that you understand how to speak Chinese, bro. The questions that they'll bombard you with, you could have 20 people circle around you,
Seriously,
looking at you. They could be curious enough to say they want to touch your hair, bro. So
crazy.
it's let me tell you a story. A story in my uni, our because what in the uni I was, we had this international building. So it's the Faculty of International Students. So it's a ginormous building with like 20 floors. And there was like uh our classes were in there, we had our apartments in there, we had our supermarkets, Chaoshi, we had them in there, we had all the rec centers in there and stuff. And so the supermarket there's this lovely IE is like auntie. So we call there's Shifu and Ai in Chinese. So Shifu, every elderly person you see, you just call him Shifu. Or if she's elderly, you call her Ai because it's uncle and auntie or whatever. So there's this lovely Ai. She's very lovely to me and my brother. And another thing is they are not used to seeing siblings because they mostly have one kid per family. And so they know that me and my brother were both tall and we kind of look the same. So she's very nice to us. She gives us free stuff sometimes. But then that as lovely as she is, there was a time that she I was standing in the aisle of soaps and then she showed me a soap and was like I should use this soap to lighten my skin.
What
So
the
she thinks that if I bath very well, I'm going to be light skinned like her.
what the
So I just laughed because I did not know. I just found it funny because again, a Nigerian coming from Nigeria, Nigeria is a place that we have zero white people. So the idea of racism does not exist. In Nigeria, people do not media does not bleep when people use the N word because it doesn't carry anything. So
Not
like
really. It's
people
quite
just
true.
go around throwing the N word everywhere because it doesn't exist in our community. We don't know those sort of things. So like me that have that orientation of not seeing racism when I go to China and it happens to me, I really don't still don't see it. So again, that's comes back to what I was telling you of like me coming to the UK and then now realizing, oh, is this because with what I know now and the value I carry my life with right now, with the fact that I've been exposed to this diversity, I don't think I would be able to stay 6 years in China if I moved from here. But from Nigeria, obviously, I would be able to.
Yeah, but the thing
So
is,
yeah,
people are more sensitive in this part of the world than
yeah. So
those other
and then yes,
places.
you learn to be sensitive yourself too, because you learn to speak for yourself and like treat people the way you would want them to be you would want to be treated as well. So it's not the case in Nigeria, bro. You know. Nigeria, you can only get people to treat you how you want when you have money. When you don't have money, you just have to survive it how you get treated.
So somebody will say, like in Nigeria, if you don't have money, you don't have rights. But if you have money, then you can say you have rights, right?
Exactly.
Is that
Exactly.
right?
I did not understand what human right is until I got here. In China, I still didn't know because to be honest, Chinese is a communist nation, right? So there's a lot of rules that you would have to follow blindly without questioning why the rules are there. And here, if a rule is being put in place, you have to question and scrutinize why do I have to do this? In China, you don't have a choice. You just have to you just have to do it. I'll give you an example, right? Let's say you go downstairs your apartment now and you try to leave the building through the main gate and the security man tells you, no, you can't use this gate, go and use the back gate to go out. You would have to ask him like, dude, why can I not go out through here, why? And then he would explain to you like, oh, okay, there's some gas work that is being done, blah 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 blah, and then you would understand and then leave. If this was China, you go downstairs and you try to go out through that same door and the security there tells you you can't use this door, you have to use the back, and you ask him why, he will tell you because it's the rule now, it's the new rule. And then you ask him, please explain to me why is this happening here? He will tell you, I don't know. My superior told me not to let anybody go through here. And legitimately, that officer or that security man does not know why because he is not trained to question power, which is expected by the citizens as well. So the citizens are not meant to expect to question power. Once there is a rule, is a rule. Just
Just have
if
to
a
obey.
Chinese man yeah, if a Chinese man walks down and they tell him you can't use this gate, you have to use the other one, he wouldn't say anything. He would turn around and go. It's only us foreigners that will be like, what? Why? Do you understand?
Hmm.
Then
Obey
go to
before
Nigeria
complain.
now. Just go to Nigeria now. Nigerians, we like they claim victim. That ain't be our problem. If person come down now say, I want to go out through this door, and the security say no, now rule. Two things can happen. You can give the security money, and then he will turn the blind eye. And you can pass, right? or you start being like, this is injustice. You people are the government is rubbish. There'll be chaos. So yeah,
Crazy.
I've experienced everything, man. Yeah.
Crazy,
So yeah,
crazy
ask
world we
another
live in.
question. Ask. We have
Okay,
almost
okay.
been half
So
an hour. We're still in China. Ask another question.
You've actually acquired a lot of skills, right? From being a computer scientist to creative writing, photography, videography, social media strategist, and a whole lot more. Like, how did all of these come into play? Like, how did you pick up, different skills, different points of your life? Is it
Um.
actually deliberate or it's just a matter of fate?
Okay. So I've always been passionate about filmmaking. Growing up as a kid, whenever I see a film or movie, I'm always looking at every movie I see. I find mistake inside. I'm always looking at how is this shot? How did they get this shot on? How do they do this? So I fell in love with the camera. But then um there are a lot of photographers, popular photographers right now in northern Nigeria that we started together. We started with the photography enthusiasm. So I loved film, but then film wasn't achievable for me because I was seeing the only film close to me is Kannywood, and that's not what I want. So I ended up being into photography and some sort of documentary filmmaking. So uh, I so growing up at that point, photography is something that is being shamed upon, and videography as well. Because I told my parents that yo, I want to be a filmmaker. They will say, "Eh, you want to be a cameraman?" That's what they are thinking. Or in Hausa, they will say, "Zakana Jibril dan hoto." Dan hoto means like the photographer in events is not looked as a posh job because it doesn't really pay very well in Sokoto at the time. So
Mm.
I always wanted to study filmmaking. But when I got a chance to leave Nigeria, and I could not tell my parents that I'm going to China, I want to do filmmaking when I get to China. I had to do something that is closest to it, which was computer science. Okay, I can edit on
Science.
my laptop. So at least if I go study computer science and I tell them that I want a Pentium i7 or i5 laptop or whatever, they'll buy it for me because I truly want to use that laptop to do video editing. Right? I don't want to use it for coding.
Find it
So
away. Find it away.
I would say me in computer science is the fate, but me in the media space is something that I
Hmm.
subconsciously taught myself to do. Like for example, the creative side of things, like the creative writing, I actually don't vision myself as a writer, although I have to do it because I did it a lot for AKO. Oh, I'm wearing their t-shirt, AKO African Knockout. This
Well,
is a promotion
good.
by Kamaru Usman. Um,
Interesting.
yeah, I do scripting for them a lot, but that creative side is mostly from the content I consume. I watch UFC do UFC embedded. watch UFC do a cold opener. And I'm not watching it the way you're watching it. You are watching it for them to sell a fight for you. Me, I'm watching it to be like, wow, they have they have this is
I'm
very
watching.
good.
I'm watching it to buy the fight from them, and,
Yeah.
and of course,
So
definitely wear the UFC apparel as well, right? To buy
yeah, yeah.
their merch.
Yeah. So so that's how I found myself in this space. And to start with the whole media company that we own, me and Farouk, um it was in the pandemic. Bro, there's a whole chapter of my life that we didn't talk about the because I was in China when COVID started, but we remind me, I will
Okay,
give you the gist of that one.
okay.
So
Don't let it get cold. Let's transition into that. Yeah, the
no, I
pandemic
have to
period.
finish this thing that is in my head. I have to tell you how our
Oh
podcast started.
wow. Okay, nice,
Our
nice. Let's go. Let's go.
so the African fighters, it started like me and Farouk went to the same secondary school in Sokoto. So when I moved to the UK, he's in Middlesbrough, I'm in Nottingham. So we kind of reconnected again and started chatting. He's one of the
Okay.
smartest guys I've known. Like in secondary school, he's like the guys in the top of the class. Me, I'm the average student. So we were chatting, and then one thing we had in common, football and MMA. We were watching UFC because at that point I was a big fan of Kamaru Usman. And then we'll be chatting about it. And then we'll spend like an hour talking on the phone. And then I was like, yo, Farouk, you know what? This thing where we dey talk, these conversations they are having, they are very nice conversations. I think we should record it and put it out there on Zoom. So it started on Zoom. We record on Zoom, and then I'll just use my editing, just put graphic on the Zoom thing and just put it online. And then that's how it started. Then we jumped into social media, started doing the social media thing, and then we started reaching out to fighters, trying to get interviews. We are getting interviews here and there, and that's how the African Fighters was born. So, uh, how I started working with AKO of Kamaru Usman's MMA promotion.
You seem to
When we
be a
started
really big
African
fan of
Fight,
Kamaru. You seem to
Oh
be
yes, oh yes,
very, very big on
yes.
Kamaru because
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know
Kamar,
we've had these conversations in the past, right? For me, Israel
yeah,
Adesanya, you Kamaru, but interesting. Like I have connections
yeah,
with both
yeah.
of them.
So
My father
Kamaru,
is Yoruba,
Kamar,
that is Israel, right? And then my mom is Edo
uh
State, right? That is Kamaru's back. So
Kamaru. Oh yeah, yeah.
yeah, we're all
So
intertwined.
so 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 let me tell you how I got connected to Kamaru. Um, I'm a big pro wrestling fan, lifelong pro wrestling fan. So sometimes there will be crossovers between pro wrestling and UFC. There was sometime in WWE they will show Dana White on the screen, maybe in WrestleMania or Ronda Rousey coming in. But you see, the Conor McGregor time, I missed the whole of the Conor McGregor time. I wasn't a fan of MMA at that time. But then
Really?
UFC 200 when Brock Lesnar made a return to UFC. At that point, I watched a bit of UFC 200 because of Brock Lesnar, and still because it's shoot fight in the pro wrestling biz. If they say something is shoot, that means something is real. So MMA is shoot fight. It's not as entertaining as pro wrestling because pro wrestling is scripted. So it's not very pretty to see. The Mark Hunt Brock Lesnar fight was like, okay, I got tuned out again. But then UFC continued jumping into WWE. Then by chance, I just saw a Nigerian man in the middle of the octagon speaking pidgin after a victory. Say, who is this guy? Kamaru Usman. Okay, followed him on Instagram. So that's how I got introduced. Then I started watching his fights. I started watching his fight. I think the promo I saw was the 30% promo. Oh no, that was before that one. So, anyways, I started following Kamaru Usman, and as I before at that point I did not even know what weight classes were. When Israel came into the UFC, I was like, Kamaru Usman want to win this title, and then this Israel boy is coming. I did not even know they were in different weight classes. I was
Different
like,
weight
does that mean that we
classes.
would have? Yeah, I was like, does that mean in Nigeria we fight in Nigeria? So when I then got into the game when I really understood what it was, um, it was actually in the pandemic, the beginning of the pandemic, that I just tuned into like a proper MMA nerd. I'm very, very
Oh,
late to the MMA party. Oh. That was
wow.
when I was speaking to Farouk. Far,
I thought I was
Farouk is
late.
a very, very yeah. Farouk is a very, very big Conor McGregor fan. He got into MMA because of Conor McGregor because he's a Real Madrid fan and he liked Cristiano Ronaldo. And then there was a post that Conor and Cristiano were doing something together, and then
Oh
that's
wow.
when Farouk got into it. So
Oh wow.
that's
Yeah, I think
how
Connor
me
as
and him.
well like influenced me.
Mhm.
Ronda and Connor. Yeah, Ronda and Connor. Yeah, influenced me to get into
So
MMA.
so yes, as I was telling you, my brother, that's how the African fighter started. Me and Farouk were chatting, and we decided to start recording our conversations.
Oh, interesting. Then the pandemic period, right? Your
Oh, we're
transition
going
into
back to China.
the yeah the
So
UK. The UK. You came to the UK during the pandemic period.
I yeah, not the end, in the middle of it, in the middle of it. Uh, I went back to Nigeria to do NYSC after my degree. So
Okay.
when I did my NYSC, I came back for my masters. I came in October, or was it November? November of 2019. So as I arrived, I was in a city called Huainan in Hefei province, in Anhui province in China. It's closer to Shanghai. So, and only 2 hours away from Wuhan, which is where the virus started from. So, uh, when I came in November, remember, and they call COVID-19 because it started in 2019, but the rest
2019,
of the world got in touch of it in 2020. So,
2019.
as I got there in November, 2 weeks later, we started hearing something about a virus in Wuhan.
Oh,
So that was when I intended to visit my old city, the city that I did my undergrad, which is Jinzhou. And the train I was in was one of the trains that was being like, that they were trying to like do the manifest of the people on those trains, uh patient zeros basically. So we were asked to like quarantine because people coming from Wuhan were on that train at some point before it got to wherever I was, and then I got off. So like we were like the first people that were in quarantine in the whole world. So
Wow.
it was a very very horrible experience. The
It has
Chinese
to be
people like
horrible.
to like to overblow things because they'll be coming to give you food in hazmat suits. So that was really scary. To be honest, I thought the world was going to end. I thought everybody will die. So yeah, the first chance I got to leave, took it. I moved out here.
Interesting. And then you said like a
Oh,
whole like
and
phase of your
and
life.
also I survived Ebola.
Wow. Wow. Is it like you seem to be chased by pandemics in your lifetime?
Yeah,
You survived
Ebola.
Ebola,
I believe
you survived
Ebola was
COVID,
20. I believe Ebola was 2015, or was it
thereabout.
2014? Yeah. So in my former uni, the one that I did my undergrad, there's a building called Ebola Building till today. So in the there's a blocks of dormitory buildings. So when Ebola started, every African kid that comes to uni will be asked to quarantine in that building. So I was in that building because we were asked to quarantine so we don't give the Chinese people Ebola. So that's why we called it Ebola Building.
Oh,
So
that's crazy.
so 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 I was in Ebola Building, but I never had Ebola. But
Oh,
the Chinese people made us feel like we are shit at that point, and I didn't care.
but then, we thank God you did not catch Ebola. Yeah, just to
Mhm,
track you, keep you on track, right? You said like a different phase of your life, like began when you came to the UK, right? And you want to
mhm.
share something about that, like, or what would you like to share about, the new phase of your life that started when
Um,
you transitioned into UK?
um, Community wise, things are very different. Things extremely different. Let's say, for example, transport alone. The first time I got a bus, I rode on a bus. It was a disaster because I did not know that I'm supposed to stick my hand out to stop the bus. I was standing in a bus stop and a bus will come drive past me. And then when I'm in the bus, I did not know that I have to push a button for the bus to stop at your bus stop.
Culture
I'll be sat
shocks.
there and I will see us driving past. I'm like, "Ah." Because in China, if you enter bus, automatically it is stop. You don't have to tell it to stop. If you get to a bus stop, it will stop. You just go out. If you're standing in a bus stop, it will come and meet you. So you enter. So that was an issue. And then trains. I'm so surprised at how free this country is. Like, you want to go from here to London, nobody is going to stop you. Just go, enter train, they go. But in China or in Nigeria, a train station is like an airport. You check in your bags, not really checking your bags, but you put your bag through the thing with the scanner so that you don't have any illegal stuff in it. You show your ticket, you show your ID, you enter, go to waiting area, just like you're boarding a plane. That's how you enter trains in China. But in the UK, it's not the same. Like when the first time I wanted to enter a train, there's a local train in our small town here. I was looking at Google Maps. Okay, Google Maps say train station day here. I walked to the train station. I was looking around. I did not see train station. Bro, I spent almost an hour looking for the train station because I
Oh,
was expecting to see a building that is written train station. But no, it's
crazy.
ju- it's
No
just a
way.
small roof. Yeah,
No
it's just a small
way.
small roof, and you just wait. If train stop, you enter. Nobody will ask you anything. If they ask you for tickets, which they don't always do, is when you are sitting inside the train. So
No way. But
there is a
a
lot of
little
that. There's,
tired. Did you
yeah, they
see a
said
little
they said
tired?
yes, it says train station, but it is point. It a point. It's a train station, but it a point. But then I will go there and I don't see anything. I'm looking
Wow.
for a train station building.
Wow.
Do you understand?
Culture shock is a big
So
thing.
so yeah. Another thing in China, they're big on IDs, like identity. You have to be carrying your ID along a lot. Depending on the city you are, some cities you have to literally have your passport in your pocket because the police can literally ask you to identify yourself. So
Okay.
Here it's not the
Quite simple.
same. Here you have the freedom to move up and down. Nobody has the right to stop you and ask for your ID unless you prompt them by doing something illegal. So, um, and in China, when they ask you to, when you have your passport around, you don't feel like they are stressing your life because you come from Nigeria where life is stressful by default. So, so yeah,
Crazy,
that's another thing, man.
crazy, crazy world. I think Nigeria is also big on IDs, sort of, right? Like
Yes, 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 yes.
you should actually have your IDs on your
Well,
phone.
I don't think it's as big as it is in China. Because China, they are
No,
when they
not,
see a
not.
foreigner, they are always concerned if the foreigner is legal or if the foreigner is what. Because like if you have a student visa, you're not allowed to work on a student visa. So if you are working illegally now, that's another issue. You can get jailed for it. So
Wow, that's crazy.
and then if you are an alien, now another situation be that before they send you, they deport you, they will jail you first. So
Crazy.
yeah.
Crazy world. That it feels like that's like a different world entirely, but that's a discussion for another day. So the next question basically is, tell us about your achievements and challenges in life thus far, and of course, what accomplishments are you most proud of as a person?
Hmm. Me, I don't know whether I don't achieve anything. Oh.
You've done too many things. That's a problem.
No, I have not done too many things. I've not
You've
done
done
too many things.
way too many
Eh,
things. You are a computer scientist. You are a videographer. You're a social media strategist, right? Come on, you're a content creator. You come on. You've
um,
done really really great stuff. But then that's the thing with great people,
okay.
right? They feel like they've not done enough. At what point do you think you feel like you've done enough or you've done something to be proud of?
um, Omo, I don't know. I
Okay,
don't know yet.
let's start from the top, right? Like, what thing have you accomplished, and you look back and you say you're really proud of this thing?
So I know Sabi beat my drum. Okay, but okay, I'm wearing an AKO t-shirt, right? So I would say
Okay,
that the work that I've done for AKO, I feel like is a very very big accomplishment because like
easy.
getting to even meet them to from like okay, so I mentioned we did the African Fighters Awards, right? So we did an award where we gave Kamaru Usman an award, and when we wanted to actually physically hand him the award, so Kamaru Usman was in Nigeria to promote AKO, and we knew he was in Nigeria, so we were dropping DMs to him, his brother, his cousin, like, yo, guys, please, we have an award we want to give Kamaru Usman. We just want a picture of Kamaru Usman holding our award, and that's it, right? We are not asking for interview or whatever. I think his brother Cash was somewhat responsive, but the person that actually
The
was
doctor.
very very helpful was Will Harris of Anatomy of a Fighter. You know Will Harris. He was on Joe Rogan Experience. He's the guy that has like all that does like that is the number one documentary maker for MMA. So he makes documentaries for vlogs for Kamaru Usman as well, and he was with Kamaru Usman on that trip. So we got to speak to him, and then Will Harris now when we give Kamaru Usman the award, Will Harris was like, oh yeah, we should send the names of the name of the person that is going to give the award so they would add him on the media list for the event. So we sent, and then at that point the only person we knew was Demola. You had Demola, sorry, Mayowa.
Mario,
Mayowa, you had Mayowa
yeah.
Balogun on your podcast, and we contacted Mayowa Balogun, was like, yo dude, please, we need to send Kamaru Usman an award. Can you please just hand him this award on behalf of us? He was like, yeah, sure. We got Mayowa tickets or media pass. So Mayowa went, but that Mumu boy, he got too excited when he got met Kamaru Usman. He did not take a proper picture. I swear, the picture he took
I
of him
saw
giving
that
Usman
picture.
the award. We gave him two awards to give Usman. I think Usman was Fighter of the Year and Knockout of the Year. and one of them got broken. I don't know if it's by the carriers. And like, to be honest, the award wasn't even the one that we were supposed to use. We quickly found someone in Nigeria to make an award. Please put a sticker on it. Go and give Usman. And yeah, so when that happened, Will Harris then saw our page and saw what we did. And then he noticed that, I don't want to say that the people that ran AKO were clueless, but the people that ran AKO were not very experienced with MMA. And they needed people that knew MMA, which was us, me and Farouk. And then he told them, like, yo, you guys should contact these guys to help you out with whatever this is, right? And we only knew about this recently, to be honest, because it was recently, because we've been working with AKO for 2 years now. And it was recently that one of them there that was telling us that Will Harris had nice things to say about us. I was like, oh, okay.
Wow. Wow.
So,
Just like what
so,
Mayowa said.
so,
Mayowa said we are like the gatekeepers for MMA in Nigeria, right? Because
yeah,
when Mayowa was on the pod, we were having a
yeah,
conversation. He was really crazy about
mm,
this, Forbes 30 under 30 thing, at some point, right? And
mm,
then I was like, well, if he did not make the Forbes 30 under 30, but at least he should be able to pride himself in the fact that we are one of the top 30 Nigerians globally in terms of MMA knowledge, right?
ah,
Myself, yourself,
hey, hey, voila.
Mayowa. Think about it. Think about it, right? Top 30
Mm.
Nigerians globally in terms of MMA knowledge. Are you not going to put yourself on that list?
Um, I think because working with AKO, they've brought me to Nigeria. I have
Mm-hmm.
physically met a lot of MMA players in Nigeria. Um, I think I've met literally everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and to be honest, I've got they respect me in that aspect. So that's very, very I'm very, very humble about. I'll have to be very, very humble about that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and like, even the fighters, when I meet them, they show respect. I'm like, hey, hold me, you that you can kick my ass. Please stop this, man.
No,
so,
the thing is,
so
fighting is different from the knowledge, bro.
yeah,
Fighting is different from
so
the
um
different.
so again, as I told you, I don't know how to beat my drum, but yeah, I think it's something to be proud about, that we are sort of the gatekeepers of combat sports, or
Exactly.
MMA in Nigeria, at least. Because, for example,
Exactly.
like, I don't know if you've interviewed Young Jollof. So
Uh,
it's from this,
we we have
yeah.
that
So
in
this MMA space,
the works.
this MMA space, like, for example, AKO, when I'll see like something I need. Like, for example, I started working with them, we've been making tweaks here and there with regards to the commentary team, because commentary is very important, because Nigerians are not very knowledgeable about MMA. And the way they will learn is when they watch on TV, and the commentator is actually educating them about what's going on in front of their screen. It's very important, because when we met in the beginning, the people the people that they had, I don't want to knock anybody off. Like, if you even go and watch their Netflix show, AKO African Knockout, the first one had Oke Bakasi as the commentator, which he had no idea what he was talking about. And then,
That's a comedian. That's a comedian
he,
talking about
yeah, he's a
MMA.
comedian. He had no idea what he was talking about. Oh, he's transitioning to mount, and he is brown and pound. Oh, bro, it was a disaster to listen to. Like, I cringed when I listened to it. So we've been trying to make tweaks here and there. Like Young Jollof, I had to like chase Young. Well, I didn't chase Young Jollof, but like, I told him, I recommended him, and then I got him to have a conversation with them, and then we brought him on board, and then we brought recommendations here and there. So uh I think with AKO right now, I think we have the perfect balance with commentary team. I like what we've had from the last event. uh yeah, so again, I'm very, very happy with where AKO is now compared to before we got on board with them. So yeah.
Yeah, that's some great stuff, And of course, I'm really proud of the
Mm,
work you guys are doing in terms of bringing MMA to the forefront in Nigeria. We hope
mm.
for greater
Nobody
stuff
else get the
to
money,
happen in
but
the future.
easy.
Uh, but then you are making a mark. You're making a mark. You might not know it right now, but then in many years to come, you will be more proud of the great job that you guys have done in
Hopefully
Nigeria.
you, hopefully you, hopefully you.
So, Okay, let's talk about the African fighters, right? What really drew your interest into the MMA fighters, right? And of course, you have the African fighters, sports, media, and management, right? Is
Yeah,
that correct? Is it like a
yeah, yeah,
registered
yeah.
company or something?
So it's registered. We are media and management company. We manage fighters as well. But before we got into this, I didn't know that managing fighters is a very tough situation, most especially when it comes to Nigerian fighters. Our experience in that part of the business of management is very tiring. Very
Mm.
tiring. But Farouk is mostly the guy that handles that aspect of it. Um, Yeah, so we do manage fighters. If you've got a fighter that is looking to get his career on track, we can actually manage, and if he's got a decent record, we can recommend him to top promotions, like, because we've got connections with like Brave CF and Brave FC and RSFC. Yeah.
Okay,
Fernan Lopez
interesting.
replies our DMs. uh the matchmakers at Brave, they reply our DMs. The only people we never reply, we know they reply us yet, na UAE Warriors. And because we know a few people, I think it's just a matter of asking someone for a contact from UAE Warriors and they'll give it to us. And at this
How
point, with
about
the
the
credibility that we've Hmm?
how about the EFC, South Africa?
um EFC, uh I think we've spoken to them before. This guy called Graham, I think he's like one of the heads, or if not the Dana White of EFC. I'm not sure. I don't think he's the owner, but he's like the leader there. I can't remember exactly what his position is. I think we spoke to him a while ago and he did respond. But we haven't had any proper conversation with them yet. However, I know that it's not going to be a hard conversation to have. But what's in it for what conversation? Why would you start having conversations when you don't have something to present? So I would rather have something tangible to talk about. I don't want to contact Graham and be like, how are you, sir? How is the family? No. So for example, I was chatting with Ola from Fight Week Show, and like Ola helped in producing one of the montages or video packages for one of the EFC cards that they do over there. Um and to be honest, I know a few people within AKO, within EFC management. Um, it's not like I don't want to disclose names here, but yes, I do know a few people, and most
So
of
so
them
if
actually,
you
I know two people, and reason why I don't fit disclose them that be say that they mostly complain about the management. So, so
oh
yeah.
wow. So but then
Yeah,
if you
but
were
like
to recommend like the top
for
prospects,
example, if I want to recommend a fighter to them, I can.
exactly. Mhm.
Yeah, but again, I'm not. It depends. It depends. I'm not managing anybody at the moment. I don't know if I should talk about contractual things here. No, I'll just leave it. But I don't have a reason to talk to them right now about a fighter.
Okay, interesting. But then let's keep it blankets, right? So if you were to
Hmm.
like recommend a top prospect from Nigeria, right? Currently in you know more about the MMA space
Mm.
in
Also,
Nigeria than
mm,
myself, right? So if you were to
mhm.
recommend like the top three prospects, top of your head, who would those be right now?
um, I would say people that I would recommend that fight in AKO. Do you want them to be Nigerian natives alone?
Anybody. I don't care about your
So you
passport.
see, so like there's this the Congolese guys, they are very talented. There's this guy called Ananias Mulumba. That guy is crazy good. His last three fights in Nigeria on Nigerian soil, all of them ended up with submission. All three fights were submission victories. You should go see him. There's this guy called Musasa, also a Congolese guy. His his range, he's got a very long range, and he uses it very well. Very pinpoint accuracy. His striking is
What
very
weight
good, and his
class?
grappling as well.
What weight class is it?
Musasa, I believe Musasa is a feather. No, no, he is a featherweight. Yeah, I think he's a
Okay.
featherweight. Yeah.
Okay.
There's also this guy. There's this guy from Senegal called Gasmiri Diatta. I feel like the best MMA fight in Nigerian history that happened inside Nigeria. The fight, if you want to go and watch a fight, go and watch AKO1 Gasmire Diatta from Senegal versus Musasa from Congo. That fight was amazing. Diatta is a
Wow.
Senegalese featherweight that he does loot Senegalese wrestling, but he has impeccable knockout power. He's very, very good. I think he's someone that could easily get out there as well. Another person in Nigeria is Jibrin Baba. He might not be as entertaining for people to watch because he is a striker, but he likes to grapple and wrestle as well. So Jibrin Baba is someone to watch out for. I think if Jibrin goes out, I think he would do good. Um, I was going to say Colonel Thompson, but when I saw what Mulumba did to Colonel Thompson recently, I'm not sure anymore. But another
You're
person that
sensitized.
you guys, yeah, another guy is person that you guys should look out for is I think you have him scheduled for a podcast or you've already done is Shegun, Machine
Oh,
Gun
Shags.
Shakes.
Yeah, I interviewed him
Yeah,
earlier today.
I understand that he got knocked out in sometime last year, which wasn't very very nice. The knockout wasn't very good. It was a brutal one. Um, I think he's someone that is very, very smart and talented as well. I think he just needs to put a couple of wins together and he'll be out there as well.
Interesting. Okay, okay,
You said
that's cool. That's fantastic.
you said you interviewed him, right?
Yes, earlier today. Earlier today.
Oh, okay.
So don't worry, he has a
Mm-hmm.
question for you.
Mm-hmm.
At the end, you will get his question. Anyways, the next question
Wait. He
is
has a question for me.
yes. So basically, we have a tradition
Wait? Who has a question for me?
that is Shegs.
Really? Okay.
Do not
So
worry, you
Shakes,
get the question at the end.
So Shakes knows me. Okay.
Not that he did not know you were going to come on the pod, right? So I have a tradition on the
Yeah.
pod. At the end of the pod, right, the
Mm.
current guest leaves a question for the next guest, and the
Oh, okay.
yeah, basically, yeah. So you will lead a
Oh, okay.
question
So
for
he
the
didn't.
next person.
He wasn't asking me a question specifically.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes,
Uh,
definitely.
that's fine.
So the next
That's
question
fine.
is actually not from me, right? I have to recognize my PA. My PA, she's a
Mm,
female and she's from Edo State, right? And then
mm-hmm.
she was telling me to ask you a lot of questions about Kamaru Usman because
Mm-hmm.
she actually likes Kamaru Usman being from Edo State. But also she put this
Mm-hmm.
question on the script. She said, "What is
Mm-hmm.
your take on women's MMA?" So this is for you to answer a woman asking you about
I'm not.
the
I'm not going
women's
to. I'm not
MMA.
going to. I'm not going to answer honestly because
Oh,
you
be
you
careful.
you you already know. So I'm not going to answer honestly because I can put myself
I
in
I
trouble with
don't know.
cancel culture. With
I
cancel
don't
culture.
know. Okay, so what are
So
what's your take on women's MMA?
um. Well, we saw, I would say, the biggest MMA star, female MMA star of all time is Ronda Rousey.
Okay. So who will be your top five? Yeah.
Um,
Top five.
women,
Yeah.
I love Tog Rose. That's Rose
Ronda Rousey.
Yamajunas.
Yeah. Rose
Rose,
Namajunas.
yeah,
Rose
that one.
Namajunas.
Namajunas.
Thug Rose. Don't say
I
Thug Rose,
like
don't worry.
Tog Rose. I like Amanda Nunes.
Amanda Nunes. Okay.
Um, oh, my girl from China, Jiang Weili.
Oh, Zhang Weili. Uh-huh.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, and Shevchenko. But if I'm going
Valentina
to rank,
Shevchenko.
yes, if I'm going to
Uh-huh.
rank them from fighters that I would love to see or fighters that I like, number one will be I put the Lioness.
Amanda Nunes. I think she's the GOAT. She's the GOAT of women's
Yeah,
MMA.
yeah, the Lioness. I think she is the GOAT, but but Ronda Rousey is more popular than her. The Lioness is number one. Number two, I like Shevchenko because of how clean she looks in there. She makes it looks easier as well. Number three, I'll put Jangweli because she beats these girls like man against boys. I like Tog Rose will be fourth and Ronda Rousey will be fifth.
Oh, interesting. Interesting.
Yeah, but
Okay.
women MMA is amazing, man. It's amazing. However, I feel like the casual fans are not giving women the recognition they deserve. I feel like they would rather see men fight. Hence why there is not too many pay-per-views where the headliners are women. I can only count two pay-per-views that headliners are women in my head right now. And both of them had Amanda Nunes on them. So that tells you a lot. Even the UFC don't put a lot because a lot of like pay-per-view with women headliners. But yeah, the women are doing amazing. However, it's not very fair when it comes to African women. African women are not closer to the rest of the world skill wise like the men are. But I think the gap is closing in. If I'm going to give a big some shout outs to some African girls, there's this girl
Bring
called
it on.
Juliet Chuku. She's a Nigerian police officer. She's amazing. Uh, I think she's currently 3-0 she's on a 3-fight win streak. There's this girl called Juliet Uka. She's also a Nigerian girl. She's also a police officer. Uh,
Wow.
she recently fought in
What's up?
EFC. She's
What's up with the
undefeated.
police officers?
She's 4-0. I feel like the police officers, they have like this taekwondo and kickboxing and boxing like sort of like team. And that's where
Okay.
these MMA people come from. Uh there's this girl called Alexandra Tekena. She is Algerian Nigerian, but she's based in France. She fights in RS. She's incredible. I love her. Um, there's this South African girl that is 4-0 as well. She's white. I can't just remember her name now. Zan something. Yeah, shout out to her as well. Yeah, so yeah.
Okay, interesting. So, what comment would you give on the future of African fighters in general, like for the next 5 to 10 years?
Yeah,
Like, what do you
so
see Africa?
2024 we are trying to put it to the next level. We are going to try it because since we started African Fighters, we have not been making money with it, but we've been making money with avenues that come with it. Like, for example, the work we do with AKO is because of African Fighters, and some other jobs are somewhere that cannot be disclosed. But like the brand itself, to make money off like monetization from YouTube or well, already monetized on YouTube. We've got over 20,000 subscribers, but social media for example, because something I noticed was when they were doing that Saudi show, Francis Ngannou versus Tyson Fury, those guys in Saudi were paying MMA blogs and MMA social media teams, and we missed out on that even though we are Africans, right? This is I thought, we have to step up our game on social media so we don't we don't miss out on promoting events. So yeah, so 2024 we are going to put in a lot of work. And also you guys put in your calendar, I believe January 16th, the African Fighters Awards is coming. This time we're going to make it big. If you would want to sponsor, please feel free to hop in
Okay.
our DMs and we can start having the conversations because this one is going to be momentous.
Interesting, interesting. So don't worry. On behalf of the Kingdom Podcast, all right, I'll sponsor one category. Hold me to that. The Kingdoms Podcast is
Wait,
going to
wait, wait.
sponsor one category on the awards.
Eh, okay. Thank you very much. We have some packages. Thank you very much. This is amazing. This is amazing. We have some packages, but we did not do it per category, but for you we can do it like that, no problem. All right, thank you
Interesting.
very much. This
You're
is a very
welcome.
very this is the best news I've heard all day, bro. All week today na Monday,
Ah,
ba? So let's see if any news will come this before the end of the week that will beat this one. But thank you very
okay.
much, King Dev. Really
Uh,
appreciate it.
you're welcome, my brother. Anything to support, the movement.
Hmm.
I'm really proud of what you guys are achieving, what you guys are doing, right? So, and of course, I'm
Thank you,
African,
thank you, thank
proudly,
you.
proudly African,
We are, we
right?
are, we really appreciate you as well. Just so you know, we were having a conversation with Farouk about bringing you as one of the judges because
Oh
we are reserving some
wow!
votes. So we are reserving some votes for judges, and you are part
Oh,
of
interesting.
the panel. So I haven't told you yet. I was going to tell you and throw you in a group chat
Oh
where
wow!
where
Live.
like because we know that the fans are very biased. Like when if you do a category and if one of the fighters have like a big following and he reposts it, he might go and get enough voting even though he doesn't deserve it. But then when we have a judges panel and then the judges vote something else, then it's
Well
going to
informed.
balance.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well
So
informed
that's
on
why we're
data.
putting together a panel and you are inside the panel.
Oh, wow, thank you very
And
much. I feel honored. I
I
feel
think
honored actually.
yeah, so and inside the panel, we are trying to put in people that are like experienced from like all the realms of like South Africa. So maybe you can do some bit of networking as well in there.
Okay, that's interesting. That's some
Yeah,
really
yeah.
interesting stuff. Like that's laudable, actually. It's remarkable. Wow, great job, guys. Big ups to you guys. I can see another question from my PA to you on this script.
Mm.
Wow, she says, okay, she's asking that what do you think about Kamaru Usman? That what are the odds of him retiring next year? Hmm. No
You know,
be
we
me.
had this
Oh.
chat yesterday with you. Me and you, we had this chat yesterday in the African Fighters podcast. The episode that we did was um bold predictions of 2024, and somewhere in there, some people said Kamaru Usman is going to retire in 2024. Um, the odds of him winning the title again, I honestly, the odds is very low at this point. It's because you would have to create a path for him to win the title, and we know how the sport work. He needs to win a fight first. So let maybe if he wins a fight, and they could just give him title fight if maybe a champion calls him out. For example, Kobe Covington comes out and be like, "I want to fight Kamaru Usman" if he beats Leon Edwards, which I don't see happening. I don't see him beating Leon Edwards, but it's going to be very, very hard for Kamaru to get back in there. But yeah, shout out to Kamaru. Please go make more money and pay us.
Okay, interesting, right? Like, for the UFC 296 card coming up, right,
Mm-hmm.
this weekend. So, what are
Mm-hmm.
your predictions? Let's just take the main card, right? So, what are your predictions for the main card? Main event: Leon Edwards versus Kobe Covington. Who are you rooting
Oh,
for?
okay. I was going to pull out the card here, UFC 296, because you are saying, all right, main card. I'll start from
Yes,
the card opener, then I'll get to the top. So, Vicente Luque versus Ian Gary. Ian
Ian
Gary is
Gary.
coming into this fight with a lot of drama with regards to his wife and Sean Strickland and a lot of people on MMA community bullying him.
It's really
And
crazy.
I feel for the poor guy, and I want him to win just so he doesn't get in his head. I think he's capable of beating Vicente Luque. Vicente Luque has been in the UFC forever. He's one of those guys that has had over 20 fights in the UFC. He's a very, very good veteran. I think Ian Gary can get it done with striking. The next one, Tony Ferguson versus Paddy
Paddy
Pimblett.
Pimblett.
Yeah, every MMA fan wants Tony Ferguson to win because of how many L's he has been taking recently. But regardless, I think the hype train of Paddy Pimblett will probably be a bit too much. But I actually do want to see Tony Ferguson win. The next one, Shavkat Rakhmonov versus Stephen Thompson. A lot of people have said Shavkat is going to be a champion in the welterweight division because of how talented he is. He is from a country called Kyrgyzstan.
That
Uh,
is
a lot of Kyrgyzstani are in our chats always whenever he fights. Kyrgyzstan, by the way, is the same country that no.
I think
Valentina Shevchenko, is she from
Valentina is
Kyrgyzstan?
from there. She's
Kyrgyzstan
of
too, yeah?
Pakistani
Yeah,
descent.
yeah. Or is she from Kazakhstan? No, she's from Kyrgyzstan. And yeah, so I think Shavkat, this will be his biggest test. If he decides to grapple, then it wouldn't be nice for Stephen Thompson. Stephen Thompson always struggles with wrestlers, but if it's pure striking, Stephen will put him out. But I think Shavkat is smart enough to take it down, so I think Shavkat takes this one. Next is flyweight title fight: Alexandra Pantoja versus Brandon
Osha.
Roval. Pantoja.
Antosha.
um,
He's Brazilian.
fine. Pantoja. All right. Brandon Roval. I don't know. I don't know how to call this fight.
That's a
It's right
tough
in the
one.
middle for me. And when it's hard to call, I'll just give the champion edge a. I'll just give the champion's edge the odd. I think Pantoja wins. Um, Next, the main event: Leon Edwards versus Kobe Covington. Not a fan of Leon Edwards for obvious reasons. Not a fan of Kobe Covington for obvious reasons. But when it comes to the two of them, I'm more. I would rather have someone annoy me and entertain me than someone annoy me and not entertain me. So, in that sense, I'm leaning towards Kobe Covington, but I think Leon is too much for him. I think Kobe isn't tested enough. He has been off. He hasn't been fighting for a long time. That doesn't. I'm not questioning his will to fight and all that, but I think Kobe might get. Leon is gonna get done. So Leon wins this one.
Interesting. Okay, quick one. As a social media manager and strategist, right? So, what are the little
Mhm.
tips you would give startup businesses for handling social media in order to succeed?
Consistency, 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 and don't be afraid to go and copy what other people are doing that is working for them. If you go to another page and see, this is what they are doing, you can copy it. There is no memo, there's no menu on how to handle social media. Any way you do, if it's working, then it's fine. You can go and
Mhm.
pick what somebody is doing, and don't forget to be looking at your stats. It's very, very important. See the time that people are watching, or the times that when you post you get more eyes. Those things are very important, little details like that. And when you see something works for you, try that thing again. Try again, try again, try again. And again, don't be afraid to copy other people.
Interesting. So, startup business owners, you heard that from Jibril Aminu. Okay, so if you're to develop a new business, right, what are the basic steps you would take to achieve a successful one?
um First of all, I think you have to be passionate about it, right? For
Okay.
example, you cannot come and say, I think photography is a good business. I want to start photography, but you're not passionate about it. How do you think you're going to go and learn and do it? You're just going to end up hating it, even if it becomes successful. So that thing that you want to do, live and breathe it. Make sure that the thing they in the forehead of your head, like everything you're doing, when if you know that it's your thing, when you go on YouTube and you refresh your homepage on YouTube and you see that the YouTube algorithm is always recommending things things that are in relation to that business, that means that you are actually doing a good job. That the algorithm is uh is recognizing that. So yeah, make sure you are very very passionate about it. And again, don't. Sorry, what's the question again?
What are the steps you recommend, right, to
Oh yeah,
achieve
yep.
success in
Oh,
a startup business?
yeah. So yes, steps. First of all, I told you this is not a step, but it's just something that we would use to fuel doing whatever
Mhm.
business this is. That is, you have to be passionate about it. And then next, again, don't be afraid to copy. So basically, what you have to do now is you are going to go and do research. Research people in that field, what people are doing. Even if you see that that thing is not happening in Nigeria, go and look at the ones that Americans are doing. Go and look at the one that the British people are doing. You understand? For example, you want to open a podcast studio in Abuja, right? Um, there's no podcast studio in Abuja. Okay,
You
so
can
what
create
you
one.
do is go online, go find podcast studio in London, go find podcast studio in San Francisco. Go and look what they do. Enter their website. Look at the services that they provide. Look at the cost of the services that they provide. Look at the things that they have. Then you go and start researching the instruments that you use, the tools, the finances, and all that. So again, don't be afraid to copy. Go and always study people that are already in that line of business. And consistency is key. Wallahi. Um, if you are consistent with it and you are doing it smartly, you are doing it right, smartly, you will succeed, inshallah.
Hmm. Thank you very much, sir. So, what is the best documentary you have created thus far? And tell us a little bit about it.
The best documentary I've made has not been seen by anybody. So this
Thus far,
happened in
thus far is the key word.
yeah, it's not going. I don't think anybody will see it, to be honest. I've already grown past it. So what it's about
Oh,
is um in 2018,
okay,
I think when I came back to do my NYSC, the Sokoto state government were no, not the Sokoto state government. It's Fadama. So there's this agency in agriculture in Nigeria that was meant to hand out loan to farmers. So they'll give you money loan, and then they will give you equipment. So the farmers are like rice farmers, right? So they'll give you electric generator to pump water, the irrigation system. They'll give you fertilizers, and then they'll give you seeds as well to plant. The only thing you have to do is show them a plot of land and say, "This is my farm," and you're going to do it. They'll give you these tools, and they'll give you also money to help you do that. The only thing you have to do is when you harvest, a percentage of the harvest is going to be taken by the government, and then you are going to sell or use the other percentage that you get from it. So that's the system. That's where it's supposed to be. But then every state were doing it fine. But when it got to our state, the government decided to scam the farmers by they connived with the banks, where the banks will send transaction alerts to the debit. They will send transaction alerts to the farmers,
what the
and
hell?
then take the money back. Do you understand? They will get a credit alert, and then the bank will debit the money. So farmers were seeing that. So my dad, after he retired from the Air Force, he's also into farming. So he also had that situation. But then, so when I met him, he was like, he's not going to let this rest. So he sent letters to the CBN, to the bank. I think it was Unity Bank, or I can't remember. Oh no, FCMB. Can't remember what bank exactly. Don't want to. So in Sokoto, so he sent letters to them to hear their part. Like, why would you send money to people and then take it away? So I compiled all those evidences of their responses, and then I went and I interviewed some farmers regarding the situation, and to hear from them what happened with the money. So I did that, did some voiceover, did everything. Made a very compelling documentary. If you watch it, it was very nice. That's like that's the one that I was like. I also interviewed my dad. My dad was also in the documentary. So
Oh,
when I finished the documentary, um, I went to China, and I wanted to go give it to CCTV. CCTV is like the Chinese news broadcasting, but they don't want to carry propaganda because in their head is propaganda. Um,
mhm.
the other choice I had was just to upload it and just make it public. It's like, you know what? My dad at that point was doing all right for himself. It's like, I just keep this thing. Uh, I haven't really looked at it since then. But regarding documentary, that is my best piece so far.
That
I
sounds
think if I
that
watch it
sounds
again,
very personal.
yeah, yeah.
It
So that I
sounds
think
very
if I watch it again,
personal.
I would want to edit it again. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's very, very unfair what the government and people are doing back home. It's very, very unfair. Very, very unfair. So like when the uh COVID palliative thing happened,
That
I
was a
wasn't
very
I,
big
wa-
controversy.
I wasn't surprised because that's exactly what they did to farmers. Just local farmers. They will not give them what they say they are going to give them. It's sad, man. Yeah.
It's a really
So that
crazy
was the type
situation.
of that was the type of documentary filmmaking I was really, really passionate, and like I wanted to be telling real stories. I
Yeah,
didn't want to
social
be making
situations.
movies. Yes,
Hmm.
I didn't want to be making movies, but it's dangerous to do that in Nigeria because if you are a whistleblower like that, they'll come for your life and the people you love.
Crazy. I think something similar is happening with this guy David Hundeyin, with the way he exposes people in
Mm-hmm.
government. I think
Mm-hmm.
that guy is at risk. It's a very, very big
Mm-hmm.
risk. Oh. I wish him all the
Mm,
best. How okay?
mhm.
What's that one thing you feel like Africans would do really great arts internationally if they ventured more into it?
You know, I think this is a whole topic I don't want to get into because it hurts
Just
me
one
when I see
thing.
this. It
Just
hurts me when
one
I see this.
thing.
No, no. Are we talking about what we could be good? Because me, I'm not looking at it from an African point of view. I'm looking at it from a Nigerian point of view.
Okay.
So
Let's take
yeah, so
Nigeria as a case study.
I'm passionate about sports. I'm passionate about football, soccer to Americans,
Okay.
and we all know the bunch of talents that come from Nigeria. So it hurts my soul when I see the state of our local leagues, when I see the conditions that players play in, and when I see the money that we are missing, that we are losing in sports just because of some
Mm,
greedy bastards in government that
mm,
would not use money properly to get the sports attractive for people to watch. We
mm,
understand that we understand that any player football, the biggest place of football is out here in the UK and Europe. But
mhm.
regardless, Brazil, their local league in Brazil is crazy good. It's generating a
Yeah.
lot of revenue. But Nigeria, we cannot generate revenue because people are being greedy. It's very, very annoying. I don't want to get into it, but it hurts me a lot when I see it. One thing that pains me the most is like basketball. There's this thing called NBBF, that's the Nigerian Basketball Federation. It's super, super, super corrupt. Like, do you know that for the past 5 years before now, the the league basketball league wasn't going on in Nigeria because they've created factions and they were in court. This guy says the president of basketball, this guy says the president of basketball. Now the league cannot function because FIBA suspended them.
That's
We
crazy.
have Nigeria has the most talent of basketballers in the NBA, but all these NBA players are Nigerians based in the US. That means that we have it in our DNA. We can do it. But we
Mm,
cannot. I don't want to start talking about basketball because the most popular sports in Nigeria is football and they cannot get that correct. Well, why would they get basketball correct?
basketball.
So so they cannot get football correct. It's sports, bro. If we invest in sports, we are going to generate a lot of money, a lot of income in Nigeria and in Africa as well. But yeah, there's a lot of talent out there that is just wasting, bro.
I really hope, I'm hopeful that we do get it right someday, because it would project us,
Those bastards.
there's a lot of potential in that. But I hope we get, and of course, we can't empower people unless we empower ourselves. So we're still on that journey of
Mm,
empowering ourselves so that we can empower people
mhm.
back home. Yeah, we hope for great things, anyways. So how do you actually balance your numerous careers with your personal and your family life? Right? How do you achieve that work-life balance?
Okay,
Till
okay.
yeah, the
Sorry,
tail
can
end.
you ask the question again?
So how do you achieve work-life balance, balancing family commitments, with your numerous endeavors?
I, s- I still haven't balanced it. I still haven't balanced it yet.
The balance is
Yeah.
no balance.
Um.
You're figuring it
Bro,
out.
we are just taking it one step at a time, man. Because like recently at work, because I obviously have to work. I work in IT. Um. They in during the pandemic we were working from home, and now they are mandating us to come into the office 3 times a week, which has scattered everything for me. But I swear I don't have a correct answer because I'm still learning to get this work-life balance situation sorted out. I'm still a mess. Every weekend, like it's even hard for me to meet my friends now because like every weekend coming, I already have something to do. You understand? So when there's an empty slot, when I'm sitting down not doing anything, I'm like, oh shit, I have to do something. There has to be something to be done because when you go to the office, it takes forever to get done. And then you've got a family, and then it's crazy. And then you've got this hobby, and then this African fighters, and then all the other things you do. It's not easy. It's not easy. You have a PA. It's working out for you, Abby. Probably need one of them.
Yeah, segregation of duties, delegation of duties. Sometimes you
Mhm.
just need to realize that there are certain things that you spend a lot of time doing ordinarily, right? You can train somebody to get those things done, right? And of course, you're empowering another person, and you're
Mm-hmm.
still building them up as well. So that's something I
Mm-hmm.
learned from my profession. I'm an auditor uh, in
Mm-hmm.
into finance. So a lot of times in finance, right, as you grow up the chain in
Mm-hmm.
your workplace, a lot of less technical duties are being delegated to your less experienced team members, and having those people do
Mm-hmm.
those things actually helps them build their own skill sets and their competences, and
Mm-hmm.
also helps achieve efficiency. So I think that that's something to be considered, and something that can help. It's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah.
So
Thanks for that.
aside from MMA, right? Like, what are your hobbies and interests aside from sports? Yeah,
Uh,
we know you're
bro,
heavily invested in sports, right? But then, what
sports,
other hobbies and
sports guy.
interests do you have?
Some hobbies I don't get to do anymore because when drones came out, I was a very very big drone nerd. Crashed more drones than I can remember. Actually, I can remember I only crashed two drones. Um, like I was always like buying the new drone that comes out because I was into those things. But moving here, I don't have time for that anymore. If you want to fly a drone here, everywhere is a no-fly zone, so you can, so you can't. But like that was something I really really enjoyed doing. I really really enjoyed taking candid pictures, going to events. When I was in uni, I was getting paid to do that, and I really really loved it. I don't like taking pictures of like people posing. I like taking candid pictures of people in events when they don't know. I'll just be in one corner, put my zoom lens. I'll be taking pictures of people. I love doing that. I don't know how to go about it here because this country everybody is you're entering my private life. Oh, privacy.
Very,
So I don't want
very
to I don't,
sensitive.
yeah, I
Overly
don't want that drama.
sensitive, man.
I don't want that drama. So that hobby cannot work. But like somewhere else, like in Nigeria or in China, you can just go around and be taking pictures of people, they don't mind. Well here, so
You
that's
get into a
something I
lot of
like doing
trouble.
that I can't do.
Interesting. So what's your advice for the younger generation in order for them to achieve success in life? What's your two cents?
Uh
Be a big
don't be
brother.
too quick. Don't be too quick,
Okay.
guys. Don't be too quick. No be everybody, no be say you must make money now. Calm down. Now small, small. That's the advice because if you are too quick, you end up doing Yahoo or doing cultism or doing something foolish. So don't be too quick. Patience. Patience and just work hard, man.
Okay, interesting. Okay, so finally we get to the question from the previous guest, the tradition of the pod,
So,
right?
question from the previous guest. What
And
attribute
that
do
is
you think
sex.
is more important in terms of self-defense, skill or strength?
Yeah, that is it. That is what
I'm asking
Shex
you.
drops for you.
I'm
You
asking
no,
you.
no, you're not asking me. Shex dropped it for you. Shex dropped it for you, not me.
Okay, okay. Question
Shex dropped it for
so
you.
what attribute do you think is more important in terms of self-defense, skill, or
Hmm.
strength? I think self-defense, I think na skill, not strength. Because strength, we've seen it so many times. People that are skillful always David will always beat Goliath. So I think it's skill. I'm not skilled at all. I have zero skill. I don't know how to throw a right hook. So
With
so
all of the MMA videos you've seen in your
uh,
lifetime, I still not skilled.
oh, guy, you yourself, can you do a roundhouse kick?
Don't worry, I am skilled. I'm skilled, bro. I do my
Okay.
trainings.
Okay, you do
Uh,
your training on top weighted, on top bed,
yeah,
Abby.
don't worry, don't worry. I'm signed up to the UFC PI.
Okay, brother. Okay, brother.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I go with skill, man. I go with skill.
yeah. I
And
think
what question
I'll
would
put
you leave
skill over
for the
strength.
next guest? Who is the next
Hmm.
guest?
Not determined yet.
Okay. All right.
So
Question for the next guest. Hmm. Okay.
you want to make something deep?
It's not deep. It's just an entertaining question, like an
Okay,
icebreaker situation. So,
okay.
I saw a tweet recently where someone is talking about every vampire movie. All the vampires have been in alive for like 100 or 200 years are always rich. And someone was like, ah, if you spend 200 years in this world, if you are not rich, then you you got something wrong, right? But then my question is, if you are granted you will not age like a vampire 200 years, what is it that you will do that will make you successful, that will make you rich? What will you do that will make you rich right now? Right now, they've confirmed to you, Demola, 200 years you will do in this life like this as a young boy. What is it that
200
you will
years.
do that will make you rich in year 100?
Year 100. Oh, you don't want to get rich in year one, year two, year three.
Yeah, but what is it that you will do that you'll be like mega rich that you see in the movies that vampires are? Because
Yeah, but then
like
you
like
could get
like
rich
in the
and get
past.
poor again.
No,
How
but
about
like
that?
in the past, now money is online. But in the past, they could just go and be robbing people. People will carry their gold, they come, they go collect them, gather them, then they have fortune. But now, how are you gonna make money? Let's assume you even have the power self, the vampire power. How you go make the money?
How do I make
You
money?
go hold person
Uh,
for neck, tell and say transfer money to me.
no, I don't have to commit crime to make the money, man.
So how will you make money? So that is my question
Mm,
to your next guest. You've been granted
uh,
immunity 200 years in this life. How will you make money? How will you be filthy rich at year 100?
interesting. Interesting. The next guest has their work cut out for
Mm-hmm.
them.
Yeah.
Interesting. Wow. Well, thank you very much, Jibril Aminu.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a great time chatting with you. It's been a great conversation. Thank you very much for your time. Wishing you the very, very best in all of your future endeavors. God bless you, my brother.
Gracias. Thank you. And shout out to King Dems and all his fans. Thank you very much. You can follow me at JB underscore Aboki, the African Fighters, at the African Fighters. You can find us everywhere. And the African Fighters Awards is coming. Yes, get tuned in. And please join our Patreon. Okay, guys? All right. Peace.
Okay, cheers. Peace. Goodbye.